There's only a few more days until Easter, and in this video I want to share with you 3 truths about leading worship this Easter. I know this Easter is going to be different, but I want to encourage you as we step into it. Coming up. Hey, Spencer here from leadingworshipwell.com, and I'll spare you the details today. Just hit subscribe down below so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. But Easter is basically here. This video came out on a Friday. I don't know whenever you're watching it, but there are only a couple more days until Easter, and I'm sure you know by now that Easter is going to be different. This Easter, we're doing it online, or maybe you're doing like a drive-in experience, whatever it is. Things are different, and if you're like me, you like to have things planned out pretty far in advance. So if you're like me in that way, then maybe you're super discouraged right now because you had these plans for Easter that were going to be amazing, and you worked with your team to come up with stuff, and you already had it planned out for your church to meet in person, and now here we are with online services. So I just want to encourage you as we step into Easter with a few thoughts, some things that you need to remember, but some things that you need to do as well to help you lead well this Easter. So before we get into that, I just want you to answer this one question just real quick. What do you want to remind other worship leaders about this Easter? I want you to be an encourager. So scroll down to the comments below and answer that question. What do you want to remind other worship leaders about this Easter? I'll see you in a second. Hey, thanks so much for leaving some encouragement. You know, we are the church with a capital C, so we're all in this together. If you feel like you're scrambling last minute to get your Easter preparations together, you aren't alone. We all are, because we all have to deal with the same thing. So thank you for encouraging other worship leaders. Let's get into these 3 things that you need to know about Easter this year. The first truth about Easter this year for worship leaders is I want you to remember this. This is only a season. What you're going through right now, it's only a season. It's not going to last forever. And you know, I wrote these points out for this video before this whole COVID thing happened. And whenever I was talking about this is only a season originally, I was thinking about Easter as being just a season, because in a typical church year, Easter is one of the busiest seasons, and you feel like you're on the edge of burnout the whole time. You're working every day. You've got a bunch of extra gatherings that you've got to prepare for, and it's really stressful. And so I just want to remind you in that sense, because that's still true, right? Like, you put in a lot of work to get ready for this Easter, and even more so now that you had to change things last minute. But I want to remind you, this is only a season. Like, after these next 3 days are over, things are going to calm down for a bit. So just keep pushing a little bit harder just for a few more days, and you're so close. You're almost there. I know that you've been putting in the work to lead your church well this Easter, so just rest in that this is only a season. And then on top of that, now because of current events, you know, this is only a season. What we're going through right now, where our churches have to meet online and all of that other stuff that entails, this is only a season. This is not going to last forever. So I want to remind you of that. I know that we need to plan for what's happening right now, and we want to get our live streams up and running and make sure that they're good quality and all of this stuff, and that's good. That's what you should be focusing on right now. But I want you to consider like what a long-term view of this looks like, because we aren't going to be doing this forever. I believe that we are going to be back in our churches, meeting with the people of our church in one room again. So just take comfort in that fact. This isn't going to last forever. This is only a season. The second truth that you need to remember this Easter is that just because this is a season, that doesn't mean that you get a pass on rest. You don't just push hard and harder and harder and harder and harder and never take a break. You need to rest. God didn't just say take a Sabbath whenever you don't have anything to do. He said take a Sabbath and make it part of your regular routine no matter what's happening. So if you're one of those people who have just been pushing and pushing, and I'm telling you, like, if you care that much, then you are prepared to lead this Easter. So if you find yourself running through things again and again and making sure that you've got it all in place, listen, you've put in the preparation. The Holy Spirit has been guiding you, not just in the moments whenever you're leading worship. He'll do that too, but he's been leading you in this preparation. So you got this. So what that means is that you can find time to rest. We've got a couple more days until Easter. If you're watching this on Saturday, you don't have much time left to rest. So I just want to encourage you, run through your worship set one more time, and then trust that you've put in the work that you need to put in, and just take some time to rest. Like, spend it with your family, spend it just being refreshed, because we want to come in to Easter Sunday on our live streams, and we want to be full of energy. We don't want to just stumble in tired because we put in so much work this week and never took a second to rest. So rest and be refreshed. Listen, rest is productive. Whenever you can do nothing, it sets you up for future success. And in the case of worship leading, if you take off after you watch this video, run through your set list one more time, make sure you have things in place, and then just take Saturday afternoon off so that you can show up on Sunday refreshed and ready to lead. Finally, the third truth is this is worth it. I know, like I said, things were crazy. You had a lot of stuff to do, but I just want to remind you that this is worth it. Like, what other story would we want to tell that we would put this much work into? There's no other story but the story of Jesus and his death and resurrection so that we could be reconnected with God. That's the best story that we can tell. So what you're doing is worth it. And I know you haven't seen everything come to fruition yet. You haven't seen all your plans work out and the sort of impact that they have. But I want to tell you that it's going to be worth it, because lives are going to be changed. People are going to hear about Jesus for the first time. And I usually say people come to church the first time on Easter. And you're going to have people who don't usually come to church in your church. I usually say that. But the truth is, you're going to have people in your live streams who they woke up on Easter morning and they're like, it's Easter. It's so much easier to just watch a video that popped up in your newsfeed on Facebook than it is to actually go to a church. So people are going to be tuning in who have probably never heard the Easter story before, and that's what we get to lead into. So I want to remind you, lead with those people in mind, like explain things a little bit further than you normally would. You're still going to have new people new to your church, new to the church in your online services. So lead with them in mind. We want to lead them well. And at the end of the day, everything that you've done, it's worth it, because we get to tell the story of Jesus. Hey, that's all I have for you today, but I just want to say thank you. Thank you for all of the work that you've put in. I know most people in your church, they have no idea the amount of work that goes into planning a Sunday service. They think you just show up with your guitar and start singing, but I know the work that you put in. So I see it. Other worship leaders know the work that it takes to do what you're doing. So thank you for all of the work that you put in to tell the story of Jesus and to tell it well and to lead your church in celebrating it this year. I hope you have an amazing Easter. I know things are going to be different, but you got this. You were made for this. You were made to lead people in worship. So until I see you next time after Easter, keep leading worship well.